This is the Regal Imports News for December 2018. 15 years ago, 81 diamond-related national governments, including 19 African governments, collaborated with non-governmental organizations under a mandate of the United Nations. They formed the Kimberley Process. Its purpose was to stem the flow of conflict diamonds. Currently, the definition of conflict diamonds is limited to rough diamonds used to finance wars. The Kimberley Process claims that the proportion of conflict diamonds has declined from 20% in the 1990s to 0.2% today. The Kimberley Process has obviously done good work and produced credible results. However, over the last several years, the Kimberley Process has failed to address some real concerns that extend beyond its original mandate. As a result, almost all of the original non-governmental organizations that participated in its creation have pulled out. These organizations feel the definition of conflict diamonds needs to extend to human rights, environmental concerns, responsible sourcing, labor conditions, and governmental violence. In mid-November, delegates from the Canadian government attended a Kimberley Process meeting held in Brussels. The Canadian delegation proposed substantial changes to the definition of conflict diamonds. The proposed expanded definition calls for restrictions to diamonds associated with violence, forced labor, child labor, or violations of humanitarian law. It also encompasses criminal activity related to bribery, taxation, extortion, or disposition of people. Two of the main organizations that sit as observers to the Kimberley Process, the World Diamond Council and the Civil Society Coalition, voiced strong support for this expanded definition. However, a spokesman for the Civil Society Coalition said the proposed changes could result in some African countries' diamonds being classified as conflict diamonds. Predictably, these African governments resisted the changes. The structure of the Kimberley Process requires any reform to the original text to be approved by 100% of member governments. There can be no dissenters. Stefan Fischler, the president of the World Diamond Council, commented saying, "The value of a diamond is enhanced by the positive values that it communicates to the consumer, and we therefore believe that any effort to reinforce those values is worthy of discussion." The problem is that the Kimberley participants have been discussing altering the original conflict definition for many years. The Civil Society Coalition said that new reforms met great resistance, and resisting participants will find themselves on the wrong side of history. If the Kimberley Process does not consider the ethical, human rights, and environmental impact of mining, then natural diamonds will lose their market and the economies of diamond-producing countries will be badly affected. Critics claim that these African countries have been using the Kimberley Process to protect their governments from unethical practices. They believe that participating members will never reach any reform consensus as long as corrupt or incompetent governments are members. The Kimberley Process is caught between a rock and a hard place. They need all government members to participate or the system falls apart. And if they don't instigate reforms, the scheme will become irrelevant. The Kimberley Process from its inception has been reactive rather than proactive. The big risk is that the world will view the diamond industry as represented by the Kimberley Process as inadequate and ineffective. The Civil Society Coalition points out that the international position is clear. Human rights are not an optional requirement. The diamond industry has a duty to deliver diamonds that are sourced, traded, and processed responsibly. Consumers not only demand that diamonds are conflict-free, They also want diamond jewelry to create a positive impact, particularly for communities that depend on the production of rough diamonds. The positive representation of diamonds is a necessary component of all diamond sales. Diamonds compete with other progressive luxury products and cannot be perceived as regressive. If the Kimberley process cannot adapt to internationally recognized humanitarian values, then its inaction will damage the diamond industry's image and its own good work. And that's the Regal Imports news for December, and all of us at Regal Imports wish our viewers a very healthy and happy holiday season.